Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. It is Wednesday, March the 25th. The year's 2020. Let's talk trading. WALMAL method, day 20. And I have WALMAL here on the phone. You want to say hi to the boys and girls and non-binary traders out there?
Good day, everybody. Hope you all had a good day, and it's been a profitable day for you. And let's get talking.
Yeah. Okay, I got a new screen here. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Trading is extremely risky. You can lose all of your money. If you need trading, investment, or financial advice, seek the advice of an accredited financial professional. Actually, see, I can just display this and not talk about it and not waste your time. Okay, boys and girls, you still are going to have to look at the money and risk management screen because I don't want you losing any more on any particular trade than you're willing to lose on a particular trade. So let's take a quick look here. You can see we still have a couple of pairs that haven't filled the gap. The pound is up for the day. You can see it's 416 pips off of that yearly low. Okay, we're outside of the opening range for the week here. Inside bar, we broke out yesterday. There's still some inside bar trades to be had. The range, hey, there's a few, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pairs that haven't hit 100. Pound sitting in at 230 range. A lot of range there. Okay. We missed the pivot. We're above the weekly open. You see the buy zone trade was like right from the get-go. Red rats are feasting. Last time to catch that ship was at 119.52. That ship has sailed. We're coming down to the 1804. So who knows how far down it's going to drop. But I don't know about you boys and girls, but if you've been noticing, it seems like when we get to that New York session, the boys in New York are pushing it back down. We took out the weekly pivot. I gave you that heads up earlier in the week to look for that. You can see here we missed today's pivot, but we did take out the weekly pivot. Wick zone. Yeah, we just went into the upper wick zone there. That's at 117.99, let's call it. So let's see what price is going to do with the wick zone. Okay, I've got a new screen here. Actually, you've seen it before, but it's we're analyzing price. But I put in a couple of new options, so when I send out the next batch of donationals, you guys will get to play with these. In fact, I got the idea from WALMAL, and he put me to work this morning. He said he was thinking, can you have a day filter? And I go, yeah, I could do that. And then he said, oh, can you make it go automatic? I'm like, what do you mean? So like if it's Wednesday, it'll automatically show Wednesday. So here on the my day input, you can see here, it defaults to auto, defaults to true. And also, you can see right here the percent per hour. If you right now, it'll show you the percent just for that hour. And also here, like I'm in the 15 hour. And so you can see 8 above 13 and 0 below. So 100% for that hour. Now, if you set it to false, it will do it. It'll tell you that these are for the whole day. In other words, for Wednesday, 9% or 0.9% of the time it was above 10 during that hour. So, but we're looking at the whole 24 hours. But I think most people will like it. Will probably want to use it this way because it just makes it's. I guess it gives a clearer reading on the statistic. WALMAL, you want to jump in and say anything about this?
But one of the things that I noticed, I pointed this out earlier, is that there are certain hours, and I'm just repeating what you said, but I just want to go and highlight it, is that there are certain hours that just show up, and you know that, for instance, our testing range is 13 pips. That's what we have it set to right now as a default. But if you look at certain hours not only above 80%, which is, man, that's pretty good, but there are hours where it's an absolute truism, because, you know, for instance, I'm looking at my chart right now, and I know I use a different set of charts than TRO does, but for instance, the hour 8 and hour 9 and hours 12 through 15 are 100%. That's a guaranteed we're going to have a range of 13 pips. And guess what? If we're trading something that's going to go outside 10 pips, that means we're guaranteed that we're going to go and have the opportunity to take 3 pips. You can't ask for anything better than that. So yeah, you may only grab 2 pips off of it, or 3 pips. But the thing is, 100% of the time, there's nothing in this life that's 100%.
Yeah, so, and remember, boys and girls, these videos are for educational purposes only, so your results may differ from WALMAL's.
Yeah, and then the second part of that is that, for instance, on mine, it's probably on the chart that you're looking at, it's probably hour 8, it's probably sitting at like 100%, and then hour 7, it drops dramatically down to like 35%. It just immediately just slams down that quick. And so that just tells you there are hours you should be trading, and there are hours that, you know what, we need to walk away. We shouldn't be there. Sure, you can make money there, but man, it's a whole lot more difficult. And so, use the stats to your advantage. And that's why we were talking earlier. It's like, what can we do to go and even hone even closer as to when we should be trading and when we should be walking away, and so that we can go and make the most amount of money that we can.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you can see if I color-coded it, so if it's green, it means that it's above 13 more than it's below. If it's 50-50, you see it's just a dim gray. And if it's red, it means it's below 13 more times than it's above. And of course, if you don't like those colors, you guys know me. Just about everything I can turn into an input, I do. So you have total control over the indicator, so you can pretty much make it do what you want it to do. And down here, its testing range is 13. And what you can do is you can up it. And if you want to say, you know what, well, 3 pips isn't enough. Maybe you want to look for 15 or more. And you can see here how it does change it just slightly using 1,000 bars. The current range is 64. The previous range from bar 1 is 64. And the range 2 bars ago is 58. And let's just flash it on the euro real quick, because WALMAL was actually doing some euro trades, but you can see here these numbers are a lot smaller. So let's put this back to 13, and let's see how it looks. But you can see here in the green, there's a lot of 50s, and there's a 60, another 60. You don't see the 90s like you see over here on the GU. So which one would you want to trade? The one with the 90s or the one with the 70s? But that's up to each trader. And you can go ahead. Go ahead, Walter.
Oh, I was just going to go and say, trade the hours that make sense. Find the hour that you're able to trade and matches up with those statistics, and take the benefit of that, And Tiro just went and said that I went over to the euro for a couple of trades, and the reason why I did that was just because this morning the GU was just I call it flashing, but it was like whipsawing really badly back and forth very, very quickly. So I went over there just to go and make some pips, and so by looking at it, if if I'm above 66% of the time, that's sitting there 2/3 of the time that I got a chance of making 3 pips. So why not take those hours, and do it? And then you got, for instance, on mine, which is probably 16 TRO's chart on that you're looking at. It's at 87.5, that's almost 90% of the time. You know what? That's an hour I want to trade. On the other hand, I'm not trading the 8 o'clock hour on the euro. It doesn't make sense. It's down to 44% of the time. I got to be, I'm trading against myself. That's not smart. And I love the fact that he color coded, between red and green, because what that means is that I don't have to sit there. I'm able to go and say, okay, here are my good hours. Here's the block that I know that I can go in on. And it's easy to see that on the screen. And the reason why I asked them to go and make that change for the day is because the numbers, when they were accumulated, the numbers were different. And in fact, I said to them, I didn't think that they were going to be that much different, but they were. Certain days are definitely different than other days. And so let's use the stats. That's what the whole method is based on, the stats. So let's use the stats to our advantage.
Yeah, that's for sure. We definitely want to use the stats. And one thing I found out was, each person has to make the method their own. And what I noticed was I prefer to see a bar that opens somewhere towards the middle of the range, somewhere between, say, 3 and 7. Because a lot of times, like if the open, like earlier, there was an open that was only like, I think it was 81 or something. I went short and the sucker turned around, and then I had to, it was a choice, either hedge it or stop out. Now, had I waited for that opening somewhere in the midpoint, that next break was a nice clean break. So that's just something that I noticed. And then there's another trader out there that's, I guess, putting in a wider stops, and I guess I'm going to be talking to that trader sometime soon, hopefully. Maybe even get him on the show here. Not that this is a show, but just curious, because it's such a simple method, and it just points out that it's really up to you as a trader to whether or not you're going to trade. And what I mean by that is, when price comes to this line here, you have to take the trade. And in this case, if you went long, you can see here you probably got stopped out. But that's trading.
I went short at 90, and I'm now out at +6. So
yeah. So yeah, the point being is that here there were pips to be made, and then here there were pips to be made. Here maybe you scratch that trade, but you can't do anything after you enter the trade to make it go your way. So the best thing to do is just take the trade and then manage it. And when you have a method that has the statistics that show, hey, we're going to have a range, bigger than 13, like it's happened 100% of the time. Obviously, I think I would want to take that trade and just do it. I mean, here there was pips. Here's the second time, and this is the one you're looking for. But as I was talking to Walter, sometimes, the method's just designed to get your 2, 3, 4, or 5 pips, and maybe sometimes you want to wait. Like right here, it came down and it came up. You might be out, and then you look back. Oh no, I could have had. No, we're not talking about what we could have had anymore. But wow, boys and girls, that 15 minutes went by really quick. It really did. Oh, and just so you know, this is the screen that I actually created for myself. This is what I like to look at when I'm trading it. So, boys and girls, fellow and non-binary traders, just remember and never forget, it's not what you trade. It's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks.